What's going on today, guys? Massive meanie head here. And I still have COVID, so that's why I sound this way. I know half of you are thinking, you made it. And the other half of you are saying, well, it's not over yet. So if I get anything wrong in this video, it's the COVID side effect of brain fog. I would never make a mistake. So I was browsing the hell site known as Twitter recently when I saw something interesting. A popular dubstep record label known as Never Say Die was being accused of stealing an artist's music. Because they're Russian. I know what you're thinking. Because they're Russian? Are you sure about that? Who is Never Say Die, you may ask? Never Say Die is not only a Black Sabbath album, but it is also an independent label founded by Schism and Mob Scene in 2009, generally releasing dubstep, trap, and related genres. They've released music from Alex Perez, Culprit, Datsik, Gross, Space Laces, and Noisia, just to name a few. This many people, basically. On April 22nd, they officially announced their closure with their final release named Angelware by Must Die, released on April 1st, 2022. An artist named Trinergy posted this to social media about a week ago at the moment of this recording. He essentially said that the label stole everything he released with them under the label. Since February 2022, he claims he hasn't been paid royalties. At the end of 2022, he contacted them asking why he hasn't received any information. They responded with a report of how much they owed him, but they denied the payment. The only solution they provided was to wait until the political situation between Russia and Ukraine stabilizes. He went on to state that all the music he put his heart and soul into for years no longer belongs to him. Coming out with this text on social media was the only thing he could do. He goes on to say he didn't choose to be Russian or not Russian and didn't make any political decisions for his country. He also says, I'm just a simple musician in pursuit of his dreams. Therefore, I do not think I deserve to be fooled and to have my content stolen. Well, they stole his music because he's Russian. It's an open and shut case. Yeah, no, it's actually far more complex from what I can tell, and I'm not quite sure why it is being framed this way in this post. For transparency here, I'd like to mention that I did reach out to both parties for comment. I did not hear back from Never Say Die, and I reached out to Trinergy, and he responded originally but did not respond after I presented the questions. Okay, let's get into some background information here first. So from what I could tell, Trinergy has released a total of one EP, one double single, and one collab song featuring a couple artists, all on Never Say Die. The EP has 5 songs and was posted in June 2018. The double was posted in October 2020, and the 3-way collab song was posted in March 2021. Never Say Die is a label that stopped releasing music in April 2022. Now obviously that means they do not need to stop paying royalties after that. Now I'm sure they've been paying out royalties on essentially all their artists' music, otherwise there would be a full-blown riot happening right now. Okay, let's look at the dates in this text here. Stop being paid in February 2022. Oh. Why does that date sound familiar? Okay, yeah, that's the month Russia invaded Ukraine. Now, am I saying he doesn't deserve to be paid because of that? Of course not. Essentially, there are sanctions and bans in the UK on Russia in response to the invasion. The aim of the economic sanctions is to impose severe consequences on Russia to effectively thwart Russian abilities to continue the aggression. The ban prevents 10 Russian and 4 Belarusian banks from using SWIFT. SWIFT is a messaging service that substantially facilitates information exchange between banks and other financial institutions. SWIFT connects more than 11,000 entities worldwide. Breaching financial sanctions is a serious crime and can be punishable by fines and up to 7 years in prison. So yeah, I'm not quite sure if that's worth the $400 or whatever they owe him. Can you imagine going to prison for that? What are you in for? Murder? Grand larceny? Sending royalties to a guy in Russia? So obviously, I don't think it's a matter of Trinergy being Russian. I think it's more so a matter of him living in Russia and it being illegal to send money there. Now, there may be some other ways to go about sending the money, but essentially it would still be a crime to do so. Now, the fact he stated that it was because he was Russian definitely got people riled up on both sides. I do feel like it was pretty dishonest to frame it that way. Like, I guess technically, since he's Russian, he can't get paid, but they aren't not paying him and withholding his music because he's Russian. It's because of where he lives, which happens to be Russia, and there happens to be sanctions due to a war that they started. Or I guess the war was already going on, but they amped it up. Now, this is a music production channel, so I'm not going to speak about this politically. I don't think that's important to what we are talking about. I do feel his pain of not being able to get paid for his music or for these few releases here. Now, I'm not exactly sure why they don't want to release his music back to him. I mean, the EP that has 5 songs on it, that was from 5 years ago already, so it is pretty old at this point. I mean, they could probably do that and probably wouldn't be losing out on too much money, and it would probably, ease the issue here. Maybe they're hopeful that the sanctions will be removed soon. Maybe they don't want to worry about it since the label has been defunct prolonged since 2022, or maybe it's somehow a bit complex to deal with breaking a contract with songs from over 5 years ago now. I could definitely see why they wouldn't want to do this with a 3-way collab song. That sounds like a headache for everyone involved. The EP and double feature could be released back to him without any issue though, so if they really wanted that to happen, it probably could happen. It's also worth mentioning though that contracts generally do not have a "what if your country invades another country and we can no longer pay you because of sanctions within our country" clause written into it. One reason I could see them not wanting to break the contract or release the music back to him, essentially if they made this exception for one person, then they would have to make it for other people as well too, whether it's related to Russia or any other country. And this could give people social precedent to get out of their contracts as well too. If it was me personally, I would give them back their music, but I also have only run a label with less than 10,000 followers, so that is not comparable by any means. Anyways, after this went down, a handful of people came out saying whether they had or hadn't been paid by Never Say Die Records. First, we'll look at the people saying they had been paid. Now, keep it in mind, there might be a lot more people than this. These are just the ones I happen to see. There was also quite a few people defending them as well, too. And obviously, I did not get screenshots or links for all of them. Okay, so we have Infinite Music here saying that Never Say Die has regularly paid me. I don't think a lot of artists understand that when you sign music to labels, you're not going to see a dime until the label recoups all of the costs that went into your release. Artwork, visual assets, promotion, press, etc. If the label spends $5,000 on your release, it needs to make $5,000 for them to break even to start paying you your royalties. Now, I don't think this personally applies to Trinergy's release, but this may apply to one of the few releases I'm going to talk about here in a bit. Anumi here says everyone's experience is different, so I'm definitely not going to talk for others, but yeah, Never Say Die is actually the only label I hadn't had issues with on royalties. Now, it's worth mentioning that just because some people have been paid by the label doesn't mean that Trinergy isn't telling the truth. It doesn't really prove anything other than people have been paid by them and people haven't been paid by them. Okay, this is where I think it gets pretty interesting. So Veer Music came out with saying, "My situation isn't similar to what happened to Trinergy with the whole sanctions thing, but I've never been paid by Never Say Die either. My situation is completely different because it may just be that my music hasn't recouped the money that was invested into it by the label." I don't mean to interrupt here, but first off, if you're throwing that into your statement here, you should probably just message them instead of making a statement about it publicly. Okay, let's continue. It could also be the fact that I've never reached out to Never Say Die either. Okay, then why the fuck are you writing this right now? Reach out to them. But I never reached out because I thought labels give you regular updates regarding your songs and how much they owe you. FFA always sends me quarterly updates even though they barely owe me any money. I have also heard many cases about artists who have released with Never Say Die that haven't been paid by them. There may also be another reason at play here that I've been told by the people who've been paid by Never Say Die, which is not confirmed, but is most definitely, what the hell is he saying at this point? And it's something I don't think I hold legal grounds to share. It's sad because Never Say Die was my dream label, and having experienced this definitely leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Okay, word salad aside here, in this case, just reach out to the label, okay? I'm not here to defend them, but you're putting me in a position to defend them. This is just common sense here. Secondly, this is a label that is not functioning anymore, so you may have to reach out to them regularly to make sure they pay you when they have over 200 artists to pay. I'm not saying that's how it should be. I just think they may be a bit less active in terms of communication, being as they are not an active label anymore. It also could be, like you said here, that your music hasn't recouped the investment, so maybe you should ask them. Okay, now I'm not saying it's not possible that Never Say Die is not paying people. Is that the right amount of negatives? I'm not 100% certain. It is totally possible that they are not paying people, but in this situation here and these instances here that came out recently, this is what's going on in my opinion. If there are other instances of this, reach out to me at just find me. It's not that hard. I will go in harder. Then the same person asks, "Hey guys, can one of you calculate how much 246,000 streams on Spotify will pay me?" Spotify alone, by the way. This isn't blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is crazy. Why are you asking this? There are literally calculators that will calculate this for you. I'm not sure how accurate they are, but you don't need to ask this question. Probably more accurate to do this than to ask random people on Twitter. It says $800 here, but then you got to remember the label's cut, etc. It's not a good look to be asking questions like this after trying to out a label for not paying you, but you don't even know how much money you would be owed, especially when it's information that would be easily available to you. Okay, then after that, he says they reached out to him. They sent him his statements. "I'm currently in the middle of asking them a bunch of questions, but I'm very confused by the things I've seen. Thank you for all the insight that everyone has given me. that's it. This is going to be the last update about this situation for a while now. Okay, let's break down what just happened here. They reached out to him. He's not going to say what they said or if he's wrong or right, but this is his last post regarding the situation. Well, that's not weird. This just in, we got another person saying they haven't been paid by them. Let's take a look. Okay, this is by Gico Music. Okay, not being paid by Never Say Die is a common thing, and sadly it has also happened to me. I've never received a single cent from them, even after getting told multiple times that I've been getting a certain amount. Maybe I wasn't a main artist for the label, but still I deserve getting paid for my work, and so should anyone who has worked at NSD or any label. Sadly, I know many other cases like this one, and it disappoints me that the label I grew up listening to and always looked up to was in reality treating their artists like this. Update, they reached out and everything is clear now. So that makes you really wonder what is happening now, and why are people not clarifying exactly how it is cleared up now? Did they forget to pay you? Were you wrong about like not recouping the money? What is going on here? Now obviously I did some quick Googling online, did not see any other cases of this happening, but maybe it has. Either way, I haven't seen any clear cases of it, but I'm not saying that they aren't not paying people. I just haven't seen any instances of it. If there are instances, I'd love to hear about them, please. I mean, if you're gonna make accusations about somebody publicly, you should probably publicly clear the air too along with it. Are Never Say Die the bad guys here? I really don't know at this point. It's really hard to say as they've stopped being active as a label, and most of the people coming out saying this said it has been resolved, but they also don't want to clarify exactly what happened. Now, a lot of this would be clearer with screenshots and evidence, and for some reason, absolutely no one has provided that. And I feel like that should be a bare minimum with any sort of cancellation campaign in 2024. You gotta have screenshots. That's insane. How do you not have screenshots? Like, even them just saying they were gonna pay you, or you asking for your statements, or asking where the money is, etc. Like anything. Picture your butthole will do. It's just something. Send us something. Okay, guys, that's it for story time. What are your guys' thoughts on story time? If you press the like button on this video, I'll if you made it to the end of the video, comment I'm dying, call 911. If you enjoyed this video, check out my video about how Palace stole beats from a fellow collaborator. I'll link it up here. I'll see you guys next time.
Bang Incorporated.